Hi guys, I'm Steve and welcome back to another Sievert gameplay. Today we're gonna look into the vanilla. I think I'm a bit way behind what other content creators have been doing, which is actually reviewing the updates and the new stuff which has been brought in the 1.2.24. So in a nutshell, basically the game has actually added an additional or rather some new weapons which we are for this gameplay today. I'm just gonna review them on the vanilla environment. So we have the Paiga. So you can see that currently the Paiga stands at probably a balanced damage and recall capability, and yeah, with a mediocre right now I'm holding a modded magazine, but it comes usually with the standard 6 ammo clip, so you can actually add it up to the highest, which would actually defeat the ergonomics. And I think for me, basically the magazine which has the 10 ammo clips would be the best balance in terms of the ergonomics and the recoil. So that's for the Paiga 12. And then we have the OUG, which is, in other words, it's the AUG, which has two variants, which is the 9x19mm SMG as well as the 5.56. So basically the 5.56 is gonna do a much more punchy damage compared to the 9x19. So I would solely just use this with the magazine 60 rounds, mainly for ghouls and boars and those which targets which don't really have any armor class. So the 9x19 would be the suitable use for those. So even if I were to actually add in the muzzle, as you can see the muzzle looks a bit awkward, it would be at the damage of 16. So without that muzzle is actually in a poor damage of 15. Even the there was a pistol, I think, I can't recall which pistol it is, that damage is quite much more reasonable than this. So I would say this is a bit disappointing in terms of carrying out other stuff, like even killing an armor class 3 bandit. So you really need to actually express more bullets out there, and with the fire rate of 600 RPM, I think it's not worth it if you're playing things like permadeath and what's not. So the 5.56 is the go-to, basically a better options in terms of if you want to use an OUG, right? So as you can see, I added the muzzle here, which actually increased an additional damage with the sacrifice of ergonomics, right? And yeah, so it's another flavor, and at 19 it's basically at the level of some of the AKs in the game. So yeah, so there's two variants that's introduced on the AUG. And then we have the NP9, which is actually the MP9, which actually has two variants again, which is the 9x19 as well as the 45. So again, straight out from my own personal view, the 9x19 is also similar in the aspect as the AUG. So it's just that the purpose for it is completely different, and with the fire rate of 1200, which is double the rate of fire of the AUG, this packs much more a better close combat with the enemies or targets which actually does not have any armor class. So yeah, and with the additional muzzle you actually add it up to the damage of 13, which is less than the AUG, but for the calibers they are using the same. So yeah, you might be wondering what calibers to use. So this is the balanced one. Obviously there would be another one which actually has a damage increase, which I guess is this one. So yeah, so having this one will decrease the damage, and I tried this on enemies on armor class 3 and above, and even at 4 it's just too much to actually express out for killing them. So yeah, so it's never even at a penetration of 30, it's never it's rather risky to actually go against anything with armor class 4 or armor class 3. So yeah, and then we have the the 0.45 for the NP9. This also, it's I would say it's lesser than the 556, so it's between the 9x19 as well as the 556. So I was trying to compare this with the Reese or the Chris vector, and yeah, you can see here which has the damage of 13, 60, 29 recalls and ergonomics, and it has a better ergonomics, so you shoot straight and in control rather than this flying off your crosshair somewhere else. So they are at the same firing rate, just that the magazines are a bit less, right? And the damage obviously for the Chris vector is slightly a bit higher, and yeah, with the accuracy as well. So I would say both are equally capable depending on how you want to use it, and they are suitable for the same usage as well. So nothing to obviously special or unique on the MP9 in terms of something that will actually lead out from the Chris vector usage. So I would, for my opinion, pick the Chris vector. So you can see that the magazine 50 is the additional 10 would usually be much more helpful in terms of dealing with the monsters and armor class 3 and somewhere there. So anything above armor class 3, don't bother with the 45 in my opinion. So you can see right out that's the list of weapons being introduced. So aside from that, we will see that yeah, there's an additional ammo which they actually made the shotgun much more viable in terms of endgame right now, which is the 12x70mm AP Buckshot. Previously I think it was a bit much more lame. The penetration wasn't that good, but now it's actually at 45. So the slugs were actually much more higher with 35, but now the Buckshot seems to be claiming that as the king. So aside from that, you are giving up the accuracy, which at a close range doesn't really matter that much, and then you have the recall, which is at 30, which again highly doesn't really make much difference, right? But at 100 something, obviously it's actually around additional 30. So you might want to, you know, for most of the shotguns, if you want to use the Buckshot, just look into the recalls. In terms of the accuracy, you know, all shotguns, they are all mainly for close combat, so you won't be shooting them or using them as snipe. So yeah, so with a damage of additional 80%, that's a humongous big difference. You will probably, from my gameplay, just take 3 to I think 4 to precise, at least 4 to kill Kiba's armor class 6, right? Just to run through it there. So yeah, it's pretty potent now that the AP Buckshot is actually introduced. That makes the AP slug a bit lame. I'm hoping that maybe they could do something about this. Like there's a lot of other variants of slugs out there which actually, you know, takes in much more higher penetration, and yeah, you can do away with things like this typical slugs, which actually has less AP armor penetration. But at least this would be maybe around 40 to 48 or something like that, which actually makes it much more viable to use. Because totally, from this new update, there's no value in actually getting this unless you have you can basically craft this, and it's actually at the top tier right now instead of the right. Let's just show you this so you can see it's now taking the ammo producer level 4. Previously I think it was just 2 or 3, so right now that's become a top tier ammo for the shotgun. So you can see this is just 3 and 1 and 1, so now this becomes the top tier. So yeah, just with that ammo update itself, the shotguns has basically been turned into a viable choice in the gameplay. So you still have the CC12, which we will run through that as well, but maybe you can see that it's on the magazine 22, which is, I know, almost impossible to get in any drops. But yeah, this would be the top tier gun or go-to instead of this. But yeah, this magazine, just alone this magazine, that reduces the reload. At the earlier prime of the game, this does drop maybe around even normal bandits, so this is not a really high tier gun, which usually drops like in armor class 4 and above, watchers and what's not. So yeah, and then you have the boulder. So all of this, basically this Paiga really sits between maybe around this 3 as well. So I won't say it's the go-to unless you have the decked out modification for it to just basically try and reduce the recoil for it. So we also have I think so there isn't much other changes aside from that. So yeah, this is basically the updates which are from the latest patch. So let's just run quickly into one gameplay. Basically, maybe I'm just gonna go into just to showcase some of this, and I'll just show the the usage of it, 9x19, and I really hate this gun. Basically, it's just, yeah. Right, for low level, let's just hit the forest and I'll show you the capability for it. I'm hoping to find some infestation here. So right above, we'll go through the sawmill, basically. That should be it, and then I can just basically exit from the extraction point here. So let's carry up. So vanilla, basically this is my go-to endgame backpack. So although it's a 15, noises. Somebody here? Nope. Alright. Not sure if it's the north or right, northeast. Never mind. Got to build up my stamina again. I don't want to be caught by right, let's try the AUG and I'll just show you what it does. Nobody at home. Whoa. Lots of killing. I'm not sure who is that. Totally useless, as you can see. And that's one shot. So armor class 4 just goes through it. So you can see that it's just crazy, you know, with that new ammo. Right, I'm not gonna dig in. But I was shooting flat with the 9x19 and it's just pathetic. And it's worse if it's actually even short range. Look at that. It's taking in all the damage. So irrelevant. Just really bad. You know, it's just really bad. As to compare with this, totally lights out. You know, armor class 2, simple. Right, so yeah. About this. So you can see it's basically armor class 2. Yeah. You can't actually try and take in the armor class 3. As you can see earlier, I was like shooting it and peppering it with almost 5 to 8 bullets. And it shows no sign of actually any damage at all. So use this gun, but mainly for non-classed targets, right? So yeah, yo wait. Go like this, pound. That does the trick. Wolves, yeah, it chews through the wolf. So you don't need any penetration for wolves. Basically, they don't have any armor class. So that's about it. So I'm just showing you the idea of the difference between these guns. So hope that helps. And what's there to look forward to in this future gameplay? I would probably be running the T-bow, and I don't know what's this X here for anyways. So people just usually just press escape. Right, so I'll probably be playing T-bow because EFC doesn't have much update, or rather no update at all for the last two incremental updates from Zero Sievert. So yeah, I was hoping maybe some new ideas coming out from Logistic, which is the creator and modder for the EFC mod. But yeah, hopefully there might be something interesting in his roadmap for the mod. And if not, stay tuned for T-bow's mod. Thanks for viewing, and hope to see you again on the next video.